dice. You never know if it could change your life. Take a chance, you're neither wrong or right. You never know if you don't roll them dice.
Hello, Matt.
Well, howdy there, partner.
Howdy to you too, Matt, and howdy to y'all on this very special Southwestern-themed episode of Dungeon Master of None. I'm your yeehaw cowboy master, Rob.
I'm just a simple cowpoke myself, Matt. And y'all aren't strangers to these parts, so mosey on over to the bar, pour yourself a glass of elf whiskey, and we're going to build some adventures.
We are going to build some adventures. Are there any games that, surely there must be, they call you like a master of ceremonies rather than
all the Powered by the Apocalypse games
That's right, they call
use MC as
MC.
opposed to DM.
What's the guy who? Well, never mind. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked thinking about rodeos. Anyway, back to the subject at hand. Matt did a episode where he talked about starting adventures and what makes a good starting adventure, and we've talked about this and danced around this at length. We designed our own starting adventure of sorts in one of our very first actual preps, the Celestial Job, which remains, I think, a pretty darn good opener, but for reasons which we'll discuss, a little too much, a little inaccessible. So we wanted to take another crack at this.
Yeah, no, that a lot of adventures and modules out there that are, designed to be like pretty easy. They're just not quite at the level you need for starting a new campaign, especially if you're a new dungeon master or if one of your players is completely new to the game. You want things just a little more accessible. Not necessarily generic, but a little more accessible. And we're going to try and do that. Like, I think we want a starting adventure that, is fun to play, but like you could put it for like whatever grand designs you have for your campaign, you could maybe tack this one on to the beginning and then go from there.
Yeah. I think about this a lot because I've run a lot of games for new players and first-time players, and they all usually go fine, but there's definitely something missing from every one of the starting adventures that I have tried. And Matt, you went over this at length in your episode, and I agree with everything that you said. A lot of them get real close, and there are a couple that I really like, but to hit all of the important points and really introduce players to what D&D is and what they need to know to play it is harder than it sounds like, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with a lot of the campaigns often starting with like a festival, which I like for experienced players, but maybe not for new players. Like, go around and have fun at the county fair can be like a little bamboozling if you're like, if you're still asking the basic question, what happens during this game, right?
Sure. Or if you're like, what do I do? Or how do I do things? Which is a question that many players have when they're starting out. Setting them loose in a town or a festival or whatever does not help them understand what it is they can or should be doing with their time or their players or their characters.
Cool. So let's like start brainstorming some ideas we have for a starting adventure. I'm going to put something out there.
You don't mind, would you just go over again your list of criteria, which I agreed with?
Yeah.
Just like for reference.
Here are the criteria we are holding ourselves to, and listeners should hold ourselves to. It should be easy to run. Like, it shouldn't take more than a session, 2 or 3. It should have strong elements of fantasy. No fighting, only bandits and goblins.
Yep.
The objective from basically the first 5 or 10 minutes should be clear to the players. Like, okay, you have to kill this person. You have to rescue this guy. You should have to go and get the doodad. It should involve at least 1 or 2 interesting decisions or debates among players. Should be a little bit of mystery, nothing like confusing, no Columbo shit, but like, hey, what is this? And then, provide a kind of an interesting stage for people to continue. Last but not least, we got to make sure a lot of opening adventures only hit one of the 3 pillars of Dungeons and Dragons. And we want to try and hit all 3, which is combat, social role-playing, and exploration.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to be aware of and want to highlight early on is that it may sound basic or even boring the way that we're approaching this, but increasingly I think that the starting adventure for a D&D campaign, especially if you have brand new players, should be as bog standard a D&D experience as possible. And I want to do that and still make it interesting, which is kind of the challenge that I'm setting for myself and setting for ourselves, is to, because we can create a wacky, wild, fun, unique starting adventure, and we have, and I hope to do some more of those. But if you're a first timer and you're expecting to be, I'm a dwarf with an axe and I go into a dungeon, which I think a lot of people still are, you should present that type of play and then expand it, right? Start narrow and then open up so that after your starting adventure, you can go anywhere you want. But I think that trying to model the D&D theme, experience, and setting as closely as possible while still be engaging is the challenge of a starting adventure that I still don't think any of the existing ones do quite a good enough job of doing.
Yeah, it's working on your fundamentals. And
Yep.
I think the best way to design this is maybe with kind of the end in mind. Like, what do we want the players to do? What do we want them to accomplish? Where is this adventure probably going to end up? So, like, what is our objective for the adventure? AKA, like, what's the villain or challenge to be overcome? And let's start brainstorming there, maybe.
Okay, I like that. Let's start at the end and work backward. So, I suppose we are starting with our boss, our final encounter, possibly our villain, though it doesn't necessarily have to be the villain. Could be something working for them. And when we started brainstorming this, and Matt, we talked about this a bit, you said that there needs to be a strong element of the fantastic, and I agree.
Right.
And I
don't want our villain to be a bandit, captain, or a goblin.
Right. Without some sort of, but yeah, no, not that.
Yeah.
And let's talk about some of the things that we really liked from other starting adventures. And you mentioned this. I myself, I love the final encounter for Sunless Citadel. There's a evil druid. He's possessed a couple of adventurers. He's got these creepy twig blights. There's an evil tree. There's terrain. It's very, very good. That's a great one. That's not too fantastical, but it is very much like a D&D encounter. I've already forgotten the name of the adventure, and maybe this is there's something similar in Dragons of Icespire Peak, but the sort of, the preview adventure for 4th edition culminated in a fight with a small white dragon. And that's not particularly unique, but I do kind of like a fight with a small dragon as a, your, I guess, reward for getting to the end of a starting adventure. Feels very Dungeons and Dragons. So those are the things that I'm thinking about. But what are our sort of like exciting monsters, exciting adventures, fantastical elements that we can draw on? Let's start to triangulate towards, what we think is the most exciting, I guess.
I mean, I love Evil Druid. Rise of the Rune Lords has an evil cleric as the villain. Village of Hommlett has an evil cleric. Like, I was thinking maybe an evil wizard or an evil sorcerer would be like a good one. Maybe someone's got like a nice skull on their head or something like that. Just
what about we lean on one of
but dragon is interesting too,
and do an evil warlock. Evil warlock is, they've put a lot of effort into warlocks. We could give them
we could do evil warlock, or if you want to lean into the dragon thing, we could lean into an evil spellcaster who can also, shape change into a dragon. Like, and we could present that as like, it's not as good as an actual dragon. That way we can have 1st or 2nd level players have a chance to deal with it. Is there a warlock that has a dragon? Not that there has to be. We can always make it a dragon, like a patron.
I also like the idea of a shape change, gives you second phase boss battle, which I love. Yeah, I think we should do that. I think that's good because I like the idea of a spellcaster, something with intelligence is a really good final combat. Maybe there isn't a dragon.
There isn't for Warlock.
Patron.
Obviously, we could make a dragon sorcerer.
Could make a
but
dragon
we could,
sorcerer.
One of the unique things is we could have let's say, a sorcerer or a wizard, let's say, who, as part of their backstory, they became the patron of some dark, evil dragon. Maybe their patron is a Draco Lich or something, and they have the undead patron ability. Actually, I mean, they're an NPC, so we're gonna give them whatever abilities works best with this.
That's right.
We're not building them as a player character, but interesting ideas for brainstorming. I think combining dragon and evil spellcaster makes for a memorable villain, which our favorite starting adventurers all have.
I think that's a good place to start. So we're gonna have a dragon themed spellcaster who can transform or shape change in a limited fashion into a dragon or dragon-like creature. Can we do this legally?
No.
Or are we going to have to bend the rules?
Yeah, let's see. What is the...
Not that I care, but it would be better if, yeah. Let's see.
Well, we don't need to get too in the weeds here.
That's
right?
true.
We're
That's
still we're still brainstorming. When we come back to this villain, we can decide, do they have the special potion that lets them turn into a dragon, or maybe they have a potion of polymorph that lets them turn into a wyvern or something, right?
Okay.
Wyverns are beasts or something.
Yep.
Or a drake or something.
Something like that. Perfect. Okay, well, let's leave that aside. Okay, so let's call it a sorcerer or warlock. We'll pin that down. Who has draconic patronage or draconic bloodline and transforms into a dragon at some point, or dragon-like creature. That's good. I like that.
Okay, yeah, you're one of the things is like, oh yeah, I love those adventures where there's an actual dragon at the end of the dungeon, like really laying it out there. Obviously, maybe they're practicing some sort of very dark, unusual magic, maybe some like demonic or, clearly evil magic. And they've got some deal with a devil or something that will, because turning into a dragon is a high level spell. If you can even do that in 5e anymore.
I think that shape change still lets you change, but that's like an 8th level spell. So.
Right. And so this is a low-level spellcaster, so they've got to cut some corners if they want to...
So here's the thing. The obvious, if we're trying to stick to familiar settings, obvious connection here is that they're a servant of or trying to get in good with Tiamat, but there's plenty of Tiamat-themed adventures already, so maybe we go in a different direction with this. There are plenty of draconic powers and other draconic entities that could be responsible for this or could be called upon for this type of power.
Before we pick their who they are serving, why don't we pick their either motivation or what they're doing that maybe helps us flesh out how this adventure kicks off? Like, did they steal something? Did they kidnap someone? Did they do something that has caused the players to get involved? If so, what did they do? And why are they doing this?
Okay, I like that. So, let's see. For motivation, this is key to one of our primary goals and pillars is, what do they want and how will thwarting them meaningfully, or how will the player's decision here to thwart them or not thwart them make a difference? I have an idea.
Okay.
You know that I love a complicated villain. So, what if the villain in question is actually trying to save our starting village? The starting village is threatened by, for lack of a better term, some sort of climate or ecological emergency, right? It's a swamp that is being overrun or maybe flooded, or it's a mountain village that's going to be destroyed by a volcano. And in making a pact with this draconic entity, it might just be if it's a swamp, like ancient black dragon, or if it's a mountain, an ancient red dragon or something, they are buying protection for the village. And in order to do so, they have to sacrifice lives, or many lives perhaps, steal things for the dragon's hoard, etc., so on and so forth. That they are doing this with wanton disregard for the individual lives in their attempt to save their sort of home village.
Okay. Yeah. So, and then that's something that's pretty easy to forefront. The players arrive to the village. It's a coastal village. The sea is encroaching, or something like that.
Something
right?
like that. Yeah.
Half of the village is up on stilts, and someone says that, by this continent is or this coastline is sinking into the ocean in a couple of years' time.
More and more houses get swept out to sea. It's harder and harder to put them back up. Soon there'll be nothing left, that kind of thing.
I like the idea of a fun fishing village or a village on the sea, and that way you can always go inland, but you can also always get your players on a boat and go somewhere else.
Yep.
If you don't like this spot.
Yeah. I do like a coastal village.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Which of the dragons are the? Okay. So the dragons have powerful lair abilities to
yes.
shape the terrain out of them. So what you're saying is if this person could successfully truly become a dragon or something like that, they could reshape the coastline, send the waters back, or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. They could even be trying to turn into maybe not an evil dragon, right? Because I was thinking, let's see, black dragons are swamps. But it's one of the chromatic dragons that is oceans. Might be bronze dragons.
I think it might be. I was just thinking about it. I think it might be.
We just reviewed the Dracononomicon, so we should know, but it all kind of slides off my.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking about Fizban's treasury. But yeah, there's a. Let's see, bronze or copper.
Yeah, bronze favor coastal environments.
Yes, perfect.
Just at home in the water as the air.
That's right. Okay. So this person, our villain, our warlock or sorcerer, is trying to...
Ooh, how about this? A bunch of children or people from the village have gone missing, and one more gets kidnapped when the players get shown up. This village maybe used to have a bronze dragon protector, and that bronze dragon, as bronze and chromatic dragons are wont to do, sometimes falls in love with humanoids, and there's a bunch of people in the town that have the bloodline of that dragon. Let's say some of them are maybe not half dragons, but they've got kind of unusual features and stuff like that. That's the clue that the players can uncover, why these people have been disappearing. The evil warlock needs to sacrifice them all or steal their essence somehow to make this transformation happen.
They have metallic irises or something like that. They just they've got the dragon eyes.
They got dragon eye.
They got dragon eye. Okay, I like that. And this bronze dragon protector
this is in the past, the players can discover it. We can make sure it's the most easy to understand lore they can discover later on. Of course, died a while ago, or a long time ago, or was killed. You know, that could be a hook for later, like what happened to this bronze dragon, and maybe discovering their lair, which is like deep under the sea or something like that.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we could even give the village a name like, you know, Dragon's Point or something like that, or you know, bronze pans, or bronze what do you call a port hold? Bronze port. Bronze
coast, you know,
dragon port, water deep dragon port.
We'll come up with something like that. But yeah, this is good. This gives us a name and a place and a theme. Okay, all right.
So let's say the bigger mystery to uncover, which the players can, if they ask around, is people have gone missing, right? When they show up, Timmy so-and-so has been captured by something evil, and the players have to go get them.
Okay, I had an idea for this, Matt.
Yeah, okay. Let's switch from villain and big picture stuff to maybe opening.
No, and I think the two most important things to figure out are the hook and the, I guess, finale, the villain. So I'm glad that we've got like sort of like a rough outline for the villain. So the hook I've been thinking about a lot, and you mentioned a lot of really good things on your previous episode. A lot of them had to do with, I mean, it's a cliche, but a kidnapped child is great, is a good hook. If you're a good player, you want to save the children. If you're not so altruistic, you take
someone offers you money,
right? It's easy to get the whole party to say, yes, we should go find this child. Now
it works because there's, at least for this first adventure, no debate about what you should do. It helps you not get stuck and spend your first time playing Dungeons and Dragons arguing about what to do for an hour, which is fine if you've played the game a lot. It's not fine if you've never played.
So I agree very, very strongly with this. The hook should be as inarguable and as simple as possible, as should be sort of like the starting location. So this is where I think I would like to try to maybe like add a little, you know, keep it as simple as possible, but add a little bit of like spice, texture to it. Let me know if you think this is too much. What if our players, in sort of like the opening tavern scene when they arrive at the village, meet two charming, dragon-eyed twins, a boy and a girl, and, you know, make friends.
They say, "Come play with us," etc., etc.
No, adult twins. They're friendly. They're charming. They invite them to drinks.
Wait, there are adult twins? I thought they were only children. Learn something new every day. What a wonderful world we live in. Okay, adult twins. Tell me more about this.
Friendly, charming, perhaps romantically interesting, and then they are kidnapped or go missing. And then that's our hook for the players to get involved. Same thing, but rather than, you know,
it's a generic person you've never heard of.
It's somebody you have a brief, pleasant interaction with. Just a thought. It does put more pressure on the
my
DM.
head is only filled with the Bud Light commercial. And twins!
I should have said twins. I should have just brother and sister, whatever.
Okay. Okay. How about this? Right.
I'm just thinking of ways. Look, we've talked. So here my thought process.
They own the tavern the players are at. So like the opening scene, you arrive at a tavern, let the players take a drink order, and then whoever is in the back is kidnapped, or whoever goes outside to take care of the horses is kidnapped.
Exactly. It's that simple. Here's my thought process. Like we talked about. For the most part, these starting adventures lack NPCs with any texture whatsoever, any sort of, you know, real social interaction. Like the Delian Tomb is so close to being perfect. It's just like very thin on roleplay. And that's the hardest thing for a new DM to do and the hardest thing for a new party to do. So I'm trying to think of ways where we can easily add some things that aren't going to require a lot of everybody, but improve that part of it, because this is one of our pillars, right? And we want to make sure that there is an opportunity to exercise in each of these zones. So anyway.
Okay, I like that idea. Yes, I think we should add to that, why not kill two birds with one stone? If we're going to go with the cliche of players starting in a tavern, and I think people kind of want that.
I don't think we should, I think we should do that. We should not complicate it, right? There's
it's
no
easy
reason
to change if you don't like it. We can just make the twins the owner-operators of the tavern, the Gemini,
That's right.
Gemini Eatery and Steakhouse.
Love it.
And yeah, that's where we start from there. They're small business owners, they're entrepreneurs, they're job creators.
That's right. Everybody likes them. Love it. Okay.
It's a Lauren Boebert style open carry tavern. You can take wands in, you can take your swords in.
There's axe throwing in the back. You can get a craft IPA and throw axes for fun. Get dragon poppers, unlimited apps. Yeah, no, it's
maybe instead of that, it is a chain tavern. They're owner operators of
they're franchisees.
TGI Fridays. Thank God it's fantasy. Get your unlimited dragon poppers at TGIF. Okay. I would love the idea of a fantasy Applebee's where, you go in and there's like plastic halberds and pole arms on the wall, and
I love
good
that
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so sure, we can build some interesting NPCs for there. We got the dragon twins, and basic social interactions. The players can take the orders. I think we can build like kind of an interesting town, right? Maybe it's half on stilts, it's half not.
Yep.
What kind of industries are here? There's fishing. Maybe there's some alchemy from the rare things from the sea. Maybe some salt pans, some farms in the
classic
back.
Stuff. Yeah.
Put in one church or a shrine. Like then there's maybe a weird shrine to some kind of storm or pirate god.
There's a shrine to the bronze dragon, an unusual old shrine, and then there's a standard church of Waukeen or something. I don't know. One of your Umberlee, maybe both. Yeah. I don't know. Standard god.
Standard god, more friendly god. And I think we should add, how about this? If we've got an evil sorcerer warlock, how about we add a wizard's tower in the middle of the town? There's an old wizard who lives there. It's an interesting thing. If the players are like really weird, they're like, we want to talk to the wizard before we go. Sure, why not? I don't know what's in that wizard's tower, but let's put a wizard's tower in there. How does this town get its? Let's see. I could have some really cool piers. We can work on the town a little more later. It's not as the most. I love this.
Thing. I don't want us to stop. I only want to highlight that this is similar in a lot of ways to Saltmarsh, which is not a problem.
I just read Rise of the Rune Lords last week for our discussion.
But I love Saltmarsh, and I don't have a problem with like being clearly inspired by Saltmarsh, which I think.
Saltmarsh, not what is Sandpoint? Sandpoint is.
Well, it's also like Sandpoint, but I think that's actually like a good point in that the good towns kind of have all the same thing. There's usually a wizard's tower, a temple. A couple of I don't think
Saltmarsh or Sandpoint have wizards towers.
Saltmarsh has a wizard. I'm positive.
Okay, you're right. You've run Saltmarsh more than I. I've only ever run the starting adventure. But
anyway, not the point.
Cool. We can add some other there's
things.
Lots of cool fantasy stuff related to the sea. Maybe there's a spot where they do like a Venetian sort of ceremony where they marry someone off to the ocean. Maybe they call the ocean by the dragon's name.
Sorry. No, I love what you just said. I think the way that we make this a little bit more interesting, but keep it fantasy and uncomplicated, is this: we model this off of like Venice or a coastal town rather than some sort of like decaying salt marsh type village. And
Venice, the biggest little city in the world.
So instead of, maybe being on stilts, there's a bunch of like older stone structures or slightly like, but they're also like, about to tumble into the sea, that sort of thing.
Right.
And
there are some ruins in the water sticking out,
Yeah.
Okay.
There's just like a little like theme difference, but I think that would be a good way to distinguish it from your salt marshes or other, fantasy.
Cool. It's
Forgotten
small
Realms
town
towns.
Venice. All
Small
right.
town Venice.
Small town.
Whatever that means.
All right. Well, I will meet you on the Bridge of Sighs at midnight, and then we'll head over to St. Michael's. Yeah, and the Lido deck. Okay, I like. We can come back to the town. I can picture parts of it in my mind, and that's good enough for now. Okay, so we want a twin to be captured.
Yeah.
And then the players bust out and they can see the tracks, let's just say down the beach, right?
Sure.
That gives it an immediate this is good, right? There's not a lot of choice for delay because a local can tell them the tide will be in 4 hours and those tracks will be gone.
I've got an idea for our dungeon.
Okay.
So again, we're keeping it simple. They follow the tracks that come to a sea cave, right? And exactly like you said, if they wait, the tide will go up and the sea cave will no longer be accessible. So if they're going to try to rescue the twin that got captured, they got to go now. And then,
or if they wait, they're going to have to swim through a sea cave, which they will learn there are consequences for those decisions. And, that's fine. That could be an interesting
all about these
encounter.
consequences. Yeah. Sometimes your players drown.
Yes.
And here's the thing. This gives us a chance, I think, to be a little bit, again, stick to the classics, but be a little bit more interesting. It starts out as a sea cave, which leads into some ancient ruins. So, maybe our 4-room dungeon is half sea cave, half an ancient temple to something or other, or an ancient shrine to the bronze dragon or something or other, where they will encounter their, our villain.
Yeah, maybe the dungeon, I mean, we could save this for a later hook that we can throw out there, but maybe the dungeon is this dragon's old lair. Or one of the dragon's old lair.
Yeah.
Like the dragon's outpost. Its actual lair is deep underwater on the coastal shelf.
Maybe this is
or
where
on an island.
Maybe this is where it went to
interact with the
court
villagers.
or interact with the villagers, right? This was its old when it was a more active benefactor, it would meet with them here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm guessing this is all kind of legend for the people of the village at this point. This is many generations ago, some people doubt whether it was even true, though you can't deny all those dragon-eyed people.
Yeah, the only real evidence is the dragon-eyed people.
Yeah. Okay, very cool. So I like the sea cave. What creature did the kidnapping? Some sort of let's say ocean troll, or we could just have it be like a demon, like a little dretch or something. Those terrible ape creatures.
Yeah, I do.
I like
the idea
dretches.
of like an ocean troll or something. Good question. There's a bunch of really good like water themed creatures, so I do kind of want something for them to encounter in the sea cave, I think.
Let's see. A marrow is a challenge rating 2.
That's not too much.
But it's also a thing that will one-shot a level 1 player. What about just a aquatic dretch, right? This has been summoned by our warlock. It is a dretch with gills.
Okay, I like that. Yeah.
Because dretches are basically goblins, but a little more terrifying.
Yeah. I was going to say that's just a CR14, but honestly, for a CR14, it's a pretty decently scary encounter.
Remember, we want to make any first encounters a cakewalk, right?
Yes,
it is a party of 4 fighting 3 dretches. You can win this.
Yep.
Even if you're the worst person ever.
No, I like that. Aquatic dretch. Yeah, it's just a dretch with gills and fins. I like that a lot.
And instead of fetid cloud, we could replace it with some aquatic ability. Maybe it
just be ink
produces
cloud.
an ink cloud or something like that, or which could be a slick on the ground. Well, we don't want to make this encounter too complicated. You know, again, I'm imagining my first player ever, like they're coming up to attack a creature, and they're like, "Oh, you forgot about the oil slick it created, or the fetid cloud, and and you fall over." And they're like, "Well, fuck this game." Okay, do we want anything at the... So we're building maybe now this very quick dungeon, 3 or 4 or 5 rooms. Do we want anything at the entrance that says, you've come to the right spot, here is a challenge, here is an encounter? Is there a guard of any kind? Maybe 2... it could be 2 dretches fighting each other, another servant of this evil
How
warlock.
about a very simple trap at the entrance? You know, let's give them the D&D experience. So
I don't like a trap as a first encounter.
You don't like a trap as a first encounter? Okay.
Right. Imagine you're playing the game for the first time, or a new adventure for the first time, and it's like, all right, the very first thing we have to deal with is some, dart that shoots us. We had no idea this could even be.
No, you're totally right. I have an idea though.
Okay.
So what if again, let's complicate this a little bit. What if it's a beast and they don't necessarily have to fight it?
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like some kind of guardian beast.
Yeah, so...
there's a whale.
I was thinking like an octopus or something.
Saltwater crocodile.
Or a crocodile. Something that they might fight,
Ooh, a half-dragon crocodile.
Ooh, okay.
Or my other thought is, what about like a enchanted sea fae, like an enchanted naiad that the warlock has bound to the entrance? That might be a little too complicated. We could maybe add one of those later in the dungeon. So
hear me out about the animal. So, or even if it's a enchanted or mystical animal, is that I think that it's you and I have found that players are more and more often willing to and wanting to talk or find alternatives to just, sheer violent combat. So giving them something,
especially with cute animals,
so giving them something, even if it's a croc, that they can either use, speak with animals, or sneak past, or I don't know, bribe with a fish or something like that if they get clever, or they can just fight it. There's something that they can just, if they want to, just fight. But if they are feeling clever, we can reward them by giving them a way around this particular foe. And I think, like a croc or an octopus.
A croc, an elephant seal.
An elephant seal.
Do the players really want to be like, all right, we're spearing a beautiful elephant seal to death for our first encounter?
I do love that. Yeah. Croc, elephant seal, octopus, or giant frog.
Let's see. Or a giant... We could go back to the Tomb of Hommlett, something the players feel that they could, easily outwit if they want to, but won't feel bad about killing. What about a giant crayfish? We go back to the Village of Hommlett.
Okay.
I love that giant crayfish.
Okay.
I've died to that giant crayfish.
I would kill a crayfish. I would not try to... a giant crayfish, I would bludgeon to death and I would bury the body. I cannot think of anything more unsettling. But maybe...
But some players would be like, all right, let's lure it out with some fish guts. Okay, let's go inside.
Okay, I like that. That's good. It's not something that they have to fight. It's not like insanely like evil or hostile, but yeah. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
That's a throwback too. Yeah, I like that.
I don't think there are 5e stats for a giant crayfish, but I cannot think of anything that will be easier for us to.
No, we could just
up.
Just do a giant crab or any number of reskin any number of other.
There are stats for a giant crab.
I know. That's what I was saying. You just reskin a giant crab.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, this is actually a perfect encounter. Hit points 13, so it's going to go down in 2 to 3 hits, maybe 4. Its damage is not that bad. It can grapple a target, so maybe a little bit of interesting. Yeah, actually, this is a perfect first fucking encounter. Good job, us.
Good job, us. Yeah, giant crab, giant crayfish with big clippy claws will be our.
Why are we saying crayfish? Crawfish. All right.
Is crawfish, crayfish?
Crawdad?
Mudbug?
Crawdad.
Okay.
Mudbug.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic, I used to do a crawfish boil every year. Here in my part of Texas, you can get them like imported from Louisiana, and it's a lot of fun. Rob is obviously not a fan of eating weird monsters.
Oh, no, I love to eat them.
Oh, you love to eat them.
I love to eat them. The thought of one that is like human-sized makes my skin crawl. No, they're great for eating. There's some creatures which I like just fine at the size that they're at, and as they begin to get larger, I get distressed. And it's generally the more like limbs they have, the more likely I am to get upset if they get bigger.
I just watched the new Jurassic Park movie. It was just god awful. But the majority of the plot was focused on something that's definitely not in any of the trailers, which were horrifying, like dog-sized giant locusts.
Oh, gross. I hate that.
You would never guess that, would you? That like, giant locusts are going to be in a Jurassic Park film?
No, I would not have guessed that.
Also, the moral of the movie was that actually genetic engineering is really good. And humans and dinosaurs should coexist. No more. Like dinosaurs had their chance, and natural selection selected them for extinction. No, it's like, no, we should coexist with dinosaurs.
We're done with we're done with you were so preoccupied whether or not you could. You never stopped to ask yourself if you should. Now we're on to fuck that. You should. You always should. Don't even stop to ask.
Don't stop to ask yourself. Have fun with it.
Yeah. Just have a good time.
Dinosaurs. They are our friends.
Nature
now.
finds a way.
Yeah.
And it's good.
To make animal friends.
That does not surprise me at all. This is neither here nor there, but like how hard it is so hard to fuck up a dinosaur movie. Like all you got to do just put the dinosaurs on screen. Like don't.
Right.
And yet this most recent batch of Jurassic Park movies is just so god awful. I don't know how they do it. It's so hard to mess up. And yet anyway, what were we talking about? Oh,
one of the players is going to show up, hold their hand up to the like Jedi style to the crayfish, and like Chris Pratt use their magic powers to charm.
If they want to speak with animals on the crawdad and say, "Don't
food over here, please, friends."
That's awesome. Let them do that. Reward them for that type of thing.
Interesting clue. The crawfish has some sort of eldritch mark on its forehead, which allows the evil warlock and his or her servants to pass.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. We can add all that kind of stuff in later. So, okay, we've got room 1. What about room 2? Do we want to branch yet? I'm thinking no.
No, I don't think we want to branch just yet.
Room 2 is the tunnels that will be flooded. Is there any clues or encounters in these tunnels? We can always come back to this, but
no, this is a room that we can come back to. There should be something here, but I don't think this is a critical room. But yeah, this is where if they delay, they'll have to swim through, because this is where the tide is coming up the fastest.
Okay, cool. Right. So we'll add a note here. If the players come here from T-4 hours to T-, I don't know how tides work. We can look it up. 10 hours, they will have to make a swim check and a constitution roll. Otherwise, they might come up gasping for breath on the other side and a little bit exhausted. There's not going to be a chance they can die or anything like that, but
sure,
it
might have some consequences if they delay.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got tunnels. Room 3.
Room 3. So again, I'm just imagining a 4 or 5 room dungeon. I loved Colville's take on this. I think this is the perfect length. So I think this is where this they step out of the tunnels, and then suddenly the natural cave transitions into a
finished worked stone.
Yes, a worked stone, ancient temple, cool mosaics, pillars,
flanked by statues of dragons on either side.
Statues of dragons. Yep.
As many clues as possible to what's going on here.
Exactly.
And then I would say it's time for a clear, you've got to fight something. Why don't we put the Dretches that kidnapped our twin here, right?
Yeah.
There's
Great.
like 3 or 4 of them.
Sure.
They hang out doing something, doing evil demon things. There's maybe they've drawn some demon stuff on the floor, and
I mean,
they will
maybe
immediately
they are
attack.
gnawing on the bones of previous victims. I don't know. We could just keep it simple,
Yeah. Okay. Dretches gnawing on bones. They take a moment to react when the players get there. We have everyone roll initiative. This is a straight up
They're
fight.
distracted, so there's no chance of the players being surprised. We keep that simple.
Gnawing and fighting on
Yeah.
bones. There is maybe a clue here. Like, we can put some interesting objects in this entrance so it's not a fight in a flat room. But we should also maybe this is where a evil warlock person we haven't come up with a name yet has their summoning circle and summons the Dretches to serve them and do these captures.
I like
smells
that. Yeah.
of brimstone.
There's runes here. There's circles. There's magical implements that if the players investigate can start to put it together.
Okay, that will be a flavorful thing. And so maybe in the old days, this used to be like the actual front room, right?
Yeah.
Before
Yes.
the landscape changed after the dragon was gone. And then inside, maybe this is where we can have some things start branching off or something like that.
Sure.
Actually, this makes me want to grab Fizban's Treasury of Dragons and see if I can draw any inspiration from the bronze dragon habitat. But we can save that for episode 2. Right.
Yeah. But I think that's
where we
something
actually
should
do the mapping.
try to do some draw some inspiration from.
Okay, but what do you want after this? I think this is a good place to have another interesting encounter, maybe something fantasy. I think this might be the time to redeploy my idea of a frozen and enchanted naiad or nereid that Warlock has captured here, or if we want to put a trap or something like that, I think players would be ready for a trap now.
Yeah. Okay. I like the idea of a naiad or a nereid or something.
So, what nereids are ocean fae, right? And they are, I'm sure, going to be more powerful than our players.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, what I'm...
What would, actually, here's a good idea. What would an evil warlock want with a nereid, other than just being a dick? Or we could have, instead of a creature, we could have a magical location. Maybe there is a talking statue, a reflecting pool that can scry on other places. Something cool or weird or wild, a portal to another dimension that the players can peer through.
Let's do a magical location with either a trap or opportunity or maybe both. Something that, depending on how they interact with it, could help or hinder them. So I like the idea. Let's keep this water themed of a scrying pool. So they come to a new chamber. In the center of it is a perfectly, almost impossibly still, calm pool of water. And if there should be some sort of book or inscription or something that gives them a hint as to what it's for, because if they just, stick their faces in it without preparing themselves or saying the right things, then they'll open themselves up to potentially some damage or ill effects. So
yeah, let's make it like really, I don't know. I would rather get like weirder and mystical, more mystical than just a pool.
Let's get weirder then. Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I
mean, it could be a pool, but it should be something very weird.
How about a free-floating water sculpture of a dragon that they can talk to?
Okay, I like that. I like the idea of like a floating ball or sculpture of water. That's super magical and mystical. Yeah, as something that can grant magic powers, something they could talk to. It could be like a programmed image or something like that the dragon left to answer questions while it was out doing better things.
Shape water combined with programmed image or something. A oracle of sorts, designed to. No, I like this. This is good. This is good. Ooh, what? Sorry.
I was just thinking of like, okay, if the dragon was the guardian of this village, right? Maybe this was like its records room, right? Maybe the shape water is in the shape of the coastline and the oceans, and it can monitor things there. Maybe it's a powerful magic effect they could even use to change things there. Maybe it's the place where it monitors the citizens of the town and its descendants. Like there's a magic book or inscription or a family tree painted on the wall, like in that Harry Potter book, that automatically fills itself in. And the players can even like mess with that. If they like erase a name on the tree, like that person starts dying or something like that. Or if they rewrite someone's name, it can bring them back to life. Like this is a really powerful like ability for people here, right? I don't know. I'm just throwing things out here, but maybe there's the name of everyone in the village on this.
I'm trying to find a way for us to put this in without it slamming our players into a something. What we want is for it to be interesting and engaging, but for them they need to keep moving, right? So if they're like, I've encountered an incredibly powerful magical artifact that allows me to manipulate time and space and the coastline, then that's awesome, but we can't have them fiddling with that when they need to be rescuing our intrepid franchisee.
Okay, let's make it more simple. Let's add, there's a cool water sculpture. There's maybe a fountain that the players can drink from that can heal them. And there is a, on one wall, there are a million little fountains with a trickle of water running into the pool. And each one has a name on them. And they magically appear, they're names of everyone who was born in this village. If the players drink from that fountain, they know where that person is.
Okay.
And the dragon made this to monitor people or something.
Okay.
So like if the players are like, was the person actually in there? Oh, they're in the next room. I know that they're this way. I don't know. It is a magical book of life for
no. I like it. Sorry. I'm trying to think through all of the possibilities here.
And it's stuff that if the players don't want to interact with too much, the next door is on the way. Maybe even the players can hear things coming from the next door.
Yeah. Okay, let's go with the magical water book of life until we for now.
Okay,
there's some things I want to hammer out about that, but I like that.
Right,
for
right,
now.
right.
I like the idea of a mystical record room, and that it's some sort of water device, water clock, water fountain,
water wheel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's even broken or something. Yeah. It could be cool. A water clock is cool. Maybe everyone has their own water clock.
Ooh. Okay.
And it shows how long they have to live. And if you smash it, they're like, they're cursed where everything like tastes salty, or they start dying until you fix their water
to wither
clock.
And die.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting there. Okay, let's water clock room. Do we want a trap in the water clock room?
I think if we're gonna add a trap, we could add it in the next hallway, the door out of the water clock room.
Okay.
Or the trap could be into the water clock room. Maybe the dragon didn't want everyone coming in here.
Let's just make a note that either into or out of the water clock room, there's a pit trap or something.
Actually, let's make it a trap that the dragon had left here that the players can bypass if they were paying attention. Something really obvious like 2 never-ending story sentinel statues.
Yeah. Okay. Something really difficult to miss.
And the players want to go past it. The password is, it says something like "Know my name." The mouths. Let's see. Bronze dragons breathe lightning. The mouths have like scorch marks. There are scorch marks on the floor. They shoot a bolt of lightning between them. It does like a D6 electricity damage. There's an obvious clue that says, speak my name and enter. And if the players had picked up the name of the dragon before, they can do that. Otherwise, they could any sort of
the dragon's name is everywhere. Let's say they could have learned it from the village. If they do any investigation or all, they'll be like, oh, the old dragon called Parnalax used to look over this, and then there's it's written all over in various languages in the temple, so it should be very easy for them to figure out.
I will say, how about this? To make it easy to bypass, for some reason, this room doesn't have any like leftover detritus, but there is a couple iron rods on either side here. And how our warlock has been getting past is he sticks an iron grounding rod into the ground when he walks through or she walks through. And that's enough to bypass the trap. Or, we'll put in the notes, players do anything else clever enough, like stuff the mouths with cotton or dretch corpse, then that will also get them through. Jump over the line of lightning, all of those things can bypass the trap. And if they fail, and the trap takes like a minute to reset. So if someone gets hit with it, the eyes close, everyone else can run through. This is the easiest trap in the world. I find that works okay with new players.
I like that. Okay,
do we want any branches, or are we ready for like a final room?
I'm okay with branches, but like for the purposes of this podcast, let's talk final room.
Okay. I'm imagining that our evil warlock person has turned what was once a campaign
let's call it an audience chamber.
Audience chamber of the dragon.
Not exactly a throne room, but somewhere where the dragon could, presumably in human form, meet with people and plan things and have an audience.
Bronze dragons love water. There's a cool moat around the throne. It's not like super deep. No one's drowning in it, but it'll make some interesting terrain.
Maybe we do some more cool water features, waterfalls, or
there's a waterfall back behind the throne. What about what has our evil warlock done to transform this room into a place where they can prepare and either kill and sacrifice or steal the draconic essence of all of the people who have this dragon's blood in their veins?
Well, we're working on a theme, and I like our theme. What if let's break from the gruesome D&D tradition, and instead of, I don't know, some sort of sacrifice table, there's a drowning pool or a drowning box where, you know, the victims are placed, and then as they drown, our villain either steals their draconic essence or uses them to fuel their not so nefarious purpose, try to stave off disaster a little longer.
I love it. Like, the magical ritual is you have to drown these people in a drowning box and then drink the salt water they were drowned in while doing a spell. It's super gross and weird. And
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that. Yep.
Okay. And obviously however long the players take, the drowning will still be going on. It takes a long time.
Right. I mean, if we're going to be real dramatic, maybe like the second they enter the room, the kidnapped person is plunged into this box, like the old magician's boxes, like like in the Prestige, and then the players have to fight. Ooh, this is perfect. I love this. This adds just a little bit of complexity.
Right.
The players have to fight the villain and stop our damsel, or is there a male version of damsel? What's a
Dane? No.
Our dude or damsel?
Dudesel.
Dude or damsel from drowning. So, which is fine. They just need to run up and like smash the sides, but somebody has to take at least one action to do that.
Right. But that's cool. Like, someone shoots an arrow through the glass box.
Yep.
It starts draining. They get some relief.
Somebody could even like shape water or, there's all sorts of things you could do, but that's just a little bit of complexity to the combat. And then they fight this boss.
And our boss, shall we say they are partially transformed into a dragon, or maybe that's the second stage of the boss fight. They're a weak level 1 wizard. They're going to start off, they're going to trade Eldritch Blasts, or maybe just, let's say, magic missiles with the players. Maybe they have a fog cloud spell.
Yeah. One or two spells, and then
they have 20, 25 hit points. When they fall down, all of their like draconic energy they've partially consumed takes over, and they turn into an evil mutated bronze dragon that's maybe not like, I'm imagining, maybe this is getting too like weird and Cronenberg, like, but a dragon where one of its limbs is just still a regular human arm and like parts of it are still regular human flesh.
They're like one dragon arm, one wing, perhaps, a tail, and clearly like they're midway through either a transformation into a dragon born or dragon kin or a full dragon, but it didn't quite take. And yeah, that's good. That's good and weird.
Okay. And then all we have to do is, I think, take an appropriate young dragon stats, switch them over to bronze dragon things, and make this it's going to be a party versus one creature. So
I think we can indulge ourselves a bit here and even write out some, an actual stat block for our transformed warlock guy. Not that we have to make it complicated, but we can give a little extra flavor here, because everything else should be really simple to run. Theoretically.
Yeah. I think we'll make our own stat block. We can do that right now or something, but we'll start with like the level, the challenge rating 1 or 2 wizard and build from there.
And something from the bronze dragon, or a bronze dragon whelp or something like that. And
it can still be like a large creature, so the players feel like it's scary. It can still have a weakened breath weapon line attack, which is, also scary.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect. I like that.
Reminds me, you should probably put something that will electricity resistance otherwhere. Actually, maybe if the players keep one of those iron rods, that will give them half damage or something like that. And then, so the players defeat this dragon warlock person. And I was thinking, we have this wizard's tower. Who is this person in town? Here are 2 ideas to bring it back to like our in-goal villain motivation, right? The villain's motivation kind of good, right? It wants the villain, we can add in some lines like, hey, please don't stop me. The town will be destroyed if you stop me. Like, and when they down stage 1 of the boss, like, no, I was so close. I'm not finished yet, etc. Mm-hmm. Who is this person in town? Obviously, they're not one of the people with the dragon essence. Or maybe they are, and they're just, like, collecting their relatives. Are they the town's wizard? Are they the town's wizard's apprentice, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. Or they were the apprentice, but they're a warlock or a sorcerer now because they didn't have the discipline for wizardry.
Everyone's always shitting on people who are non-wizards that just couldn't hack it. That's why
hack
they're
it. Well, they had too much natural talent. They weren't willing to, spend the hundreds of years that it requires to learn proper arcane magic.
And maybe they have a demon patron, right? There's maybe a link to that. Players can discover that. Maybe they have recovered 1 or 2 of this dragon's magic items. And then maybe they still spy on their former master. Maybe in here there is a portal, a teleportation circle, a wardrobe that the players can step through and get into the wizard tower. Maybe they've murdered the town's wizard already. No one's just checked on him or her because they're a recluse.
Okay, I like that. Yeah.
All right. Did we we're kind of through our first brainstorming session. Is this easy enough to run? I'm thinking so. Is there fantasy? Yes. Clear objectives?
Yes.
Interesting decisions. I don't know if we've included any of those.
That I want to revisit next time.
Okay.
I think there's something that we can do in the water clock room. And then I think that there's maybe something that we can do at the end or at the beginning to give them a decision to make.
Right.
But I need some time to noodle on exactly what.
Yeah, it could be something interesting like, oh, should we continue this person's work? Should we
that's what I'm thinking is
bring
how
this
do they,
person to punishment?
Because now they know there's a problem, right? So
right.
What they do, and maybe there's a magic item or a mystical process or something that our villain is working on, and they have to decide to dismantle it, continue it without the human sacrifice, report it.
That's great. I want to go ahead and add that in the final room is, so Warlock had to transform into a dragon in order to operate the dragon throne, which is a magical artifact that can control the weather and coastlines of this area, but only a bronze dragon can do it. And the players could do something. We'll come up with an interesting thing the players can do with the magic throne.
Maybe there's a halfway version that they can try
right,
that will rescue the town, but if they want to permanently save it, they're going to have to find a bronze dragon or do something else. But yeah, I think there's an interesting decision to be made there.
We can come back to this one as well, but interesting hooks. Did we have further interesting hooks? I'm going to say the players can explore the Wizard's Tower, which is maybe a separate dungeon with a dead wizard or a wizard ghost in it.
I think we can add a couple more interesting locations to the town that are that they may want to come back to.
I think we should add in somewhere in here a mention of pirates or pirate things. Maybe this has to do with the warlock's origin. Maybe pirates are what the villagers were blaming the disappearances on before. And they're not wrong. There are pirates around here.
I like that. Just something to hook something that could come up later.
And then I think, we should definitely add an interesting hook of what town legend says happened to the dragon. Were they killed by another dragon? Were they, did they develop some magical curse? Were they turned into a lich by a skeleton dragon by an evil sorcerer? final encounter, could we make it more interesting than a single boss fight? Could we give the evil warlock 2 cool servants, like a little imp or something like that?
Yes.
Or a skeleton that like lifts things for them?
I want to revisit it and think about maybe a familiar or maybe a flunky. Again, a full party versus one person, one foe is a pretty, just action economy wise, kind of like not a great fight. So I definitely think adding, maybe something. I'm not sure what, but something else. I think we can do that without making it too hard.
We could have a side room off this throne room full of skeletons of the other people this warlock is kidnapped, basically just doing manual construction, right? Maybe they're building the arcane engine for this person. The players can attack them or try and figure out some way to disable them or something. But I love, like, instead of using skeletons as guard, using skeletons as laborers or something like that.
I like it.
Okay. So other hooks, we've got pirates, we've got the mystery of the dragon, we've got, saving the town from ecological disaster. We need to add in a couple more interesting NPCs to the town. We need to give everyone names and flesh out their further motivations. But I love our villain. It's complex. A dragon wannabe warlock with a demon patron. Oh yeah, we can definitely have more interesting hooks with maybe there's a special sea devil.
Sea devil. Yeah,
Do you like
that.
sea devils?
I do.
Let's
like
come
sea
up with
devils.
a cool sea devil that is the patron of this warlock. And the sea devil absolutely doesn't want to save the town, but it's interesting.
Ooh, I like
it's
that.
trying to get the hooks into the warlock. The sea devil has what's the name of the pirate like devil?
Davy Jones.
Davy Jones is this warlock's patron, and Davy Jones has plans for this village. What about that?
I like that. I think that's a great. Yeah, I like the idea of a sea devil and sea demons, sea devils is a theme here as well. An additional complication.
Ooh. Now I'm thinking of a swarm of evil sea monkeys. They're all an inch tall, and they, like the kind you could get at the
the kind you get in the
demonic
mail. Yeah,
krill. But they're servant of this creature. We probably need to add in a magic item or 2. I imagine this warlock maybe just has a wand of magic missile. Maybe there's an enchanted sword or something in the throne room.
Yeah, we skipped over magic items, but there's definitely I think that there are things that we should seed throughout, and that's something we should address next time.
If this is your first actual prep episode, what we normally do is brainstorm out everything, try and type it up as best we can, let it sit for a week. When we come back, we'll see what doesn't make sense or sucks, and then actually write it out in a second episode where we flesh things out. And that will be our next episode on this actual prep, is fleshing things out and coming up with a finished product.
Okay.
Or finished adventure. It's not a product. It's just fun for
an adventure.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
And then I think we will title this, again, The Best Adventure Part 2. I don't want to give this adventure a name. We'll just call it The Best Adventure.
I like it. Okay. I feel good about this start. I'm excited.
Okay, this is a good start. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Matt.
If you're one of our patrons, look at our notes. We would love your feedback or suggestions that we can incorporate into, again, The Best Starting Adventure. But for everyone, thanks for listening to this episode.
Yep. Stay healthy, stay safe, and keep rolling them dice.
The greatest adventure is what lies ahead. Today and tomorrow are yet to be said. The chances, the changes are